In this video, we would discuss what are number patterns and how to solve the questions related to number patterns. First of all, number patterns are patterns in which numbers are given in an order. Now, figuring out the order is the first step in solving the problems. There are two types of number patterns. One is growing pattern. This is also called increasing pattern, and some people also call it ascending pattern. Simple word is growing. Second type of pattern is shrinking pattern, also called decreasing pattern, and another name is descending pattern. Let's first do what is a growing pattern. Let's say we're given this list of simple numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're asked to fill in the blanks later on. So what do we have to first see is we have to check whether the second number is greater than the first number or smaller. In this case, the second number, so this is your first number, this is your second number. My second number 2 is greater than 1. That means if the second number is bigger than the first number and so on, this is going to be called an increasing or growing pattern. Now we would see a growing pattern is always going to become bigger either by addition or by multiplication. In this case, we are going bigger by addition because 1 plus 1 gives us a 2, 2 plus 1 gives us a 3, 3 plus 1 gives us a 4, so on. We can follow the same pattern and we can fill up our blanks. 6 plus 1 gives us a 7, 7 plus 1 gives us an 8, 8 plus 1 gives us a 9. So no matter how many blanks we were given, we could have been able to fill up all those blanks using this pattern. So if the question also wants you to write on the pattern rule, we would always write on the start number. So we would say start at 1, and what do we do after that is we keep adding 1 every time and keep adding 1 each time. This was a very easy example of a growing pattern. Let's take up a little bit harder example. If we have 8, 12, 16, 20 and so on, we're given the blanks to fill up, and the question also wants us to write on the rule for this pattern. So what do we have to do is we see that the second number is bigger than the first number. So this is a growing pattern. Once we are able to figure that out, we know this is going to be growing by either addition or multiplication. So we would see what added to 8 gives us a 12, and we are able to figure that out as 4. So 8 after 8, when we start counting 9, 10, 11, 12, we get a 4. Similarly, after 12, if we count this 4, 13, 14, 15, 16, we're able to get the next number. So that means this is the right pick. So we keep adding 4 and we keep filling up the blanks. Plus 4 is 36, plus 4 is 40. The last number we got is 44. And what's the rule? We always write on the first number, and that's an 8. So we say start at 8 and keep adding 4 each time. Now let's take up an example of a shrinking pattern. Let's say we have 20, 19, 18, 17 and so on. Now we check that this is the first number, this is the second number, and we see second number, which is 19, is smaller than 20. That means this is a shrinking pattern. Now once we know this is a shrinking pattern, that means you would have to either subtract or divide. Now we would see what subtracted by 20 would give us a 19. 20 minus 1 is a 19. Similarly, 19 minus 1 is an 18. 18 minus 1 is a 17, and so on. We can fill up the pattern. Now once we have filled up the pattern, we have to write on the rule, and if the rule says, and the rule would say is the start number, so we would say start at 20 and keep subtracting 1 each time. You can also have big number examples. For example, if we are given 430, 330, 230, 130 and so on, and they ask us to fill the blanks. Now we would see from 430 to 330, we would have to subtract 100 because this is smaller than this. Similarly, from 330 to 230, we would have to subtract 100 again. So on, we would do the same thing. So now if I subtract 100, I'll be able to get a 30. I don't know what to write on further, so I don't have to fill these up. Now the rule is start at 430 and subtract 100 each time. And this is how we do number pattern question.